Hi, in our last session, we focused on launching Power BI or opening Power BI for the very first time. In this session, our attention will be directed to importing data into Power BI so we can start doing some analysis. Power BI accepts data from our local resources and also data from a remote location. So if a data to be analyzed is kept in a remote location somewhere in the world, all you need to do is to get the web URL of that file, and then Power BI can use that to connect to the data. For files that are in a local system, all we need to do is to browse to that location and pick the file. Power BI also accepts different file formats. But the most common file format that we're going to work with is the CSV and the Excel format. Now, before we bring in our data into Power BI, we need to understand some of the file properties of the file we'll be working with. For example, this is the file I'll be working with. I need to get or know the file type of this file which I'm bringing in. I also need to understand the appropriate regional setting that will be most suitable for this file. So to know the file type, simply place your cursor on top of the file. You see, it's telling me that the file is Microsoft Excel, separated value. I can also get the file type by simply right-clicking on it and click Properties. It tells me that the file type is Microsoft Excel, separated value file. Now I know the file type. But I also need to know the appropriate regional setting that will be most suitable for this file. To do that, I'll have to open the file. Then I'll be on the lookout for a date and time column or a date column that will suggest to me or tell me the appropriate regional type to use. Now we have date of hire here. Fine, that's the date column that we can work with. Now if you look at it, the date is arranged in day, month, year. So this suggests to me that the regional setting that will be most suitable for this is the UK format, because that's exactly how their date is being specified. We have day coming first and then followed by month and year. So having known the file type and the appropriate regional setting to apply, I can proceed to bring in this data into Power BI. So I'm switching over to my Power BI. To bring data into Power BI, I'll switch to the report view. Under the home menu, I have Get Data. So I'll click my Get Data. So that's my Get Data. To bring in data from a remote location or to reference a remote location data, I will use the web option. So these are the various options in which you can bring file. So I'll search for the web version. If it's taking me time to find, all I need to do is to come to this search and type web. And immediately it will redirect me to the web section. So I'll come here and double click on it. Then I'll have to specify the web URL. That is the address of that file. It could be something of this nature. Some web address.com/some file name.csv. So having specified the file web URL, I'll just proceed to click OK, and I will be linked up to that file irrespective of where it is irrespective of its location. If the file is kept or stored in my local system, then I'm going to use I'm going to browse to specify that file. So I'll come here, get data. It lists all the options for me. Take note, my file type is CSV. So I'll come here, among the category, I'll specify the file type that is most suitable. And here we have text/CSV. So I'll double click on it. And now I'll have to browse to the file that I want to bring in. And that's the file, so I'll just double click on it. So that's it. That's the file here. It's always a good practice. The best practice is when you're bringing in file, don't just load the file directly by using this load option. Rather, use the transform data option. The transform data option will load your file into Power Query Editor. That editor allows you to profile your file, clean it, transform it, perhaps add more columns so as to be able to tell a better story. So it's always a good practice to switch to the transform data rather than loading the data directly. If there are errors, you can easily spot them out in transform data and correct it. So I'll click the transform data. So we are now in the Power Query Editor. That's it. You can see the title there, Power Query Editor. In here, we can profile, clean, and transform this data into what we can easily narrate or tell stories about. So for now, we are not telling any stories. We are not cleaning the data. We just want to bring data in. So I'll just proceed without making any changes. I'll come here and close it. When you do, you can click Apply Changes for the changes to be applied. So that's exactly our file. It has been imported. You can see it in the data pane. We have the H arrow attrition. So this is how we bring in file into Power BI. However, sometimes certain files or group of files may have the same structure. For example, look at this set of files under the sales folder. These are sales for different years. We have the sales for 2015, 2016, and 2017. If you open each of these files, you will quickly observe that they have the same structure. For example, this is for 2015. These are the column headers that are here. That's exactly the same column headers that we have for 2016 and also for 2017. See, they have the same structure. So for files that have the same structure, you can group them, put them in a particular folder, and bring in the folder into Power BI. This is important because if this file increases, for example, there's 2018 record, all you need to do is just to pick that 2018 file and drop it, and automatically everything will sync. Now, how do we bring in a folder into Power BI? Still under Get Data. This time you use the folder option. So we'll double click. And now instead of specifying a file, we are going to browse a folder. So I'm going to browse where the folder is. That's it. And I'll click OK. I'll proceed to click OK. And here we have the various files. See, these are 3 years files telling you for each year, sales 2015, 2016, 2017, which is exactly what we have here, 2015, 2016, and 2017, specifying the various files. So under here, we have combine. Don't just switch to transform data, but just come here, combine. You say combine and transform. So combine and transform data. It's going to combine these 3 files into one. So instead of dealing with them as 3 files, your Power BI will see it as a single file because they have the same structure. You proceed to click OK. So if you notice, there are 2 dialog boxes open, so you just come here, switch to this. So that's it. It loads you automatically now into Power Query Editor. You see, they are all seen as one file now. Once again, we'll just close this. We're not making changes to it now. And we can proceed to click Apply Changes. So that's it. We now have 2 data in our data pane. We have the HR attrition. We also have the sales. If we switch to your table view, you should have a preview of this file. So I can come here and say, okay, I click on the sales. You see, even if there are 3 files, they are being presented as one table, right? You can see. You also have record for 2017. Can scroll down. Can switch to my HR attrition. So like we said in our previous video, the table view gives you a preview of your data in tabular format. So that's it. So this is how we bring in data into Power BI. In the next session, we're going to focus on how to transform this data, to clean it and start transforming it so that it starts taking the shape of the story we would like to tell. So see you in the next session.